Slava Ukraine.
Slava Ukraine. Means glory to Ukraine.
Love that.
Now it'll be easier if you hold it down here.
Okay.
Because what they're looking for is still and stable. Yeah, the less, it doesn't really work to offer it to them because they're like, what?
I always assumed the higher up it was, the more comfortable they would be. But it's more stable.
Well, what this is doing is setting up another territory.
And they're so territorial, these little birds.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so funny.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm seeing a problem here. Here we go. It's all right. It was spilling sugar, and that'll bring bees. Can you describe what just happened?
No.
Neither can I. I've been doing this.
It's really nice that I had a bud come by to say it.
Yeah.
The honeybees are nice.
Well, they have kind of a mutual destruction path because the bees know if they sting they're going to die, and the birds know if they get stung they're going to die. So they try and work things out without stinging.
Very Cold War era politics.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? Say what you will about the Cold War, we managed to live through it.
You've been chosen. Isn't it the great thing in the world?
Yeah, I haven't. I've never had a hummingbird eat out of my hand before.
It's so special.
Bucket list
And
item.
I know my parents have told you that they started doing this in COVID. And we have the little rings, and they'll eat out of my hand. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And you get, they get used to it. The black-chins, people have noticed that the black-chinned hummingbirds that live here are starting to nest closer to human activity. Because,
Oh, there you go. Maybe they like dudes.
It appears so.
Oh, there you go, babe. They're like a little helicopter.
uh-huh,
I just love the feeling of their little wings.
the guys who are designing the drones and stuff are studying the hummingbirds really closely.
Did she get one?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
You got a sip, but you need a little bit more.
Oh, it's okay. I've had it before, and I'm just so happy for you guys.
Are they here every day?
Oh, yeah.
Summer, winter?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so cool.
In the summer, it'll drop down to like 60 to 80. It'll be mostly black chins and a few of the costas that stay here.
Do you feel like some of the hummingbirds are friendlier than the others?
To me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Annas versus the Costas and the black
Oh,
tails.
yeah, well, yeah, the Annas. I don't have any Annas males here because they're too aggressive. They can't look at something like this and try and take over. They got to, and that means that they get their asses kicked because the birds that live here aren't doing it. They don't gang up, but there's an endless line of single combat that you would have to go through to try and dominate these feeders. And so what they do is they come, they get the mating over with, and then they go somewhere where they can be bossed.
We have we're in a condo just down the street here on the left, and we have a cactus about 6 feet off the ground, and they're nesting right on top.
It's
So
so
they
great.
leave the eggs and just sitting there all every day.
I just was telling Steve, we live in LA. My living room window is right up against the tree. The hummingbird made its nest right outside my window.
You're lucky.
And I get to watch it grow.
Yeah.
It's like a picture frame.
Yeah,
Wow.
it really is.
Yeah.
And my parents live right here on Glen
Oh,
Palm
yeah?
Shore. Yeah. You didn't know that.
You could always feel the wind.
Yeah. So they just place a lot of air at the hover. So much of what happens with them, by the time you realize what just happened, it's already over.
Yeah.
And so if you spend time trying to process what just happened, you can miss what's happening.
They don't ever do nests in this tree, do they?
This one?
Yeah.
No, that's kind of like a staging ground.
Right.
They do nest in the pirate canto. They nest in the olive tree. They nest in the oak tree. They nest in the palm trees. There's probably close to 200 nests between the two hotels.
Wow.
Yeah, because there's a big, like, block-long stand of bougainvillea, and they love that because it's got tangly sticks and thorns. And it's a fairly safe place. Yeah.
I love them so much.
Clearly.
I got into it because 8 years ago I was very sick. And the treatment was like really harsh. And one of the things I could do was to sit out on my back porch in the shade and watch the one feeder people had put up. That was like all I could do for quite a while. And then as I got better, I started reading up about the hummingbirds, and I realized this is a famous place for hummingbirds. It's like world famous. You know, Nancy Sinatra were famous for hummingbirds too. I mean, that's cool.
Good combo.
And so I started putting them up. And I got advice from people like the Living Desert Museum.
Oh, yeah.
And I got advice from the Coyote Inn up on Barristo, because they've had a colony there for like 20 years of Costas. It's like an extended family. And their legs are really flimsy. They cannot walk. Okay, now there's a broadtail.
Where? Right here.
Right above me.
Yeah, and you
His
can.
tail looks different.
Yeah, that's how it's broad. Band out. It's a broadtail. There's usually an Anna's female. She's nesting right now. She usually comes right here a few times during the sunset.
Some of them are just so much littler.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I have a very popular feeder.
Mm-hmm.
What's your advice to getting it to the next level?
You have one feeder?
I have one feeder.
Okay. I would hang another feeder about 10 feet away from it
Okay.
and see if, and then you build in between the two.
Okay.
When I started this, I had one there and one over here. And that was so if somebody tried to dominate the feeder, they'd wear themselves out. You can't stop them from trying to dominate a food source. That is too powerful an instinct. In the wild, if they eat from a flower, they get like 1 or 2 sips, and the flower needs to make more nectar. So what they do is they post up and wait for the flower.
That makes sense. It's not endless like this.
Yeah. And over the time, I compressed the airspace because you can't stop them fighting. They're hummingbirds, and they're gonna. But by having them closer together, they don't have high-speed arguments.
High-speed arguments is a great sentence.
Yeah. Well, there are times I have to lower the awning because they'll get up and they'll be angry at another bird that will be at the feeder and they'll power dive on it.
Yeah.
And I've seen that kill both birds.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, their aggression can
Oh my
lead
God.
them to death.
Steve, you know too much.
Well,
Yeah.
You know the good, the bad, and the ugly.
well, you gotta learn it all.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things I've found really interesting is that when I learn the science behind some of the stuff they do, it really doesn't destroy the mythologies I've also learned, you know?
Totally. Strength and demon.
Well, it makes it understandable. Like the Calhea believes if you tell a hummingbird about somebody who's recently died, the hummingbirds can pass that along to the spirits.
I've never heard that. That's so cool.
Well, the Aztec believed something very similar. So did the Mayas, so did the Apache. Just about everybody that comes to them assigns them like between world spiritual power.
Wow.
I think it's because Sharon is good.
What do you think?
I think that at night they go into a suspended animation state called torpor, where their heartbeat slows, their respiration slows, their eyes are closed. They look dead, and then at the first sliver of sunlight they wake up.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it's really easy to assume, you know, when they're in that state that they are somewhere else.
Right.
That's probably where they came from. That's really interesting. And what's it called? Torpor?
Torpor.
Yeah.
Oh, never heard that.
And then there's,
Oh.
and also because they're only in daylight.
We will come again.
Okay.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
Our great green red dog is just here.
She wouldn't have sat still on that, I realize now. the other kids would have loved it.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
And it's dinner time for us as well. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Steve.
We gotta feed our dog.
Steve,
Oh,
it's
have
so good
fun.
to see you.
Yeah.
It was such a pleasure.
It's just the best experience.
It is.
Thank you for creating it. Maybe see you tomorrow.
Okay,
We're here all weekend.
great. This is what I was hoping to get yesterday when I cropped this stool. What can happen is I'll have a swarm up here, and I'll have a swarm down here.